Hey, you guys. I know I waited a little bit because I was in my head. In my head, right now, there's not anybody in here. So I'm just saying hi to whoever's watching this after the fact. We are here at the park enjoying ourselves, relishing this beautiful spring like energy. Fully in this energy of expansion, transformation, balance, compassion, trust. Woo! Kind of tougher. Sometimes we can find it a bit challenging to unfold into that trust because during the full moon and during a new moon too, like it can bring up a lot of chaos. It can stir up the emotions. It can cause tension and conflicts, and that can really pull us from our center. So yeah, there's like a crane fly chilling with me now. I think that's a cool sign. They eat the mosquitoes, so it's like the things that are draining your energy are going to get eaten it. Okay? And yeah. And I think that's a way that spirit is showing support. It's like you do your best, and the things that drain you and irritate you are going to be taken care of, you know. Obviously, maybe you should prepare some bug spray, right? Protect yourself, get your shields up, be clear about your boundaries, right? For me, during this phase between the new moon and this full moon has involved a lot of clearing. I was cutting cords a few days before the new moon happened in Aries. Hi, welcome in. I was cutting cords a few days before the new moon in Aries, and whew, during that time, it was a big old conflict in my home situation, and it caused me to feel like really uncomfortable, ill at ease, like I couldn't be safe and at peace in my own home. Like I don't belong anywhere. So it just brought up a lot of the shadows, right? The traumas. So that's something that I was looking at, that has been coming up since the time of the new moon. Now, closer to this time of the full moon, there's been more and more light shed on the situation of what I need to let go of and release and stuff. And it's my attachment to how other people are coming at me, and my attachment to the narratives of what that means, like that it's as being, with regards to it being like a reflection of my existence. It's not a reflection of the way that I exist in the world. If somebody decides to come into my thing and pick on me or attack me in some way, it's not a reflection on my being. It's not so it's really a reflection of their inner state, that they want to do that when I'm not even going out of my way to do anything to them. And maybe this is something that's been coming up for some of you guys, between the new moon and today and stuff. And I hope that you've been able to have a similar kind of realization and awareness as we're approaching this time of the full moon. So what's cool is that, we're going from this Mars energy of the new moon in Aries, and we're going towards the Mars energy of the full moon in Scorpio. So it's like, but it's two different sides, of the same energy. So with the Aries energy, of course, it's very fiery, it's hot. It can be a little selfish, indignant even, I'll say. And then the Scorpio energy is very deeply sensitive. Of course, it can be destructive. We associate it with, like, that's a car backfiring. We associate it with the death card, right? Even the tower card and stuff. So there's a lot of destruction that's happening, but it's in the surface of regeneration, of recreating ourselves, rebuilding, reestablishing, reaffirming, rediscovering, you know? So it's about getting to the roots of the issues too. It's like you can see what the roots of the conflicts are. That's what's going to help, I think, start to be illuminated. I hope this moon energy is treating you good. I hope you're utilizing it to its fullest potential, and that's why I'm here today too, is I wanted to do little reads here. I've got my Moonology Oracle to read the moon energy. So we're going to do that in a little bit. I want to play with my cutesy little... So full moon in Scorpio, I always get like a nice little Halloween vibe around this time, even though it's the middle of spring. So I'm going to use this Halloween tarot deck because I love it. And I think if we need any clarifiers, I'll use this Tarot of the Divine deck. Okay? And so, like I said, we're going to start with the Moonology Oracle. And I think I would like to get to the Dark Mirror and the Love Oracle as well, to give messages that will be kind of like a preamble to the tarot reading. And then, yeah, I'm going to use the Halloween tarot and the Tarot of the Divine to clarify the answers. Okay, this is a very cutesy deck. This is a very artistic and beautiful deck. So, yeah, we're going to have a good time before we get done, before we get into the reading. We can feel and sense that the energies here are like synchronizing, right? Hi, thank you. You know, we got a lot of feedback from the universe just now when we were like talking about that Scorpio energy, the Mars energy in particular and stuff. So we're going to just kind of tap in a little bit more deeply. We're going to get grounded here. That's one of the reasons why I was thinking it'd be nice to be here at the park, aside from all this other stuff that we've been kind of discussing, referencing before. So we're here to literally touch grass. If you're not outside, that's okay. You can get yourself outside, or you can stay where you're at and just picture yourself in a beautiful location that is peaceful and a natural setting, okay? Okay, so first breath I'm going to do will be from my own self, and you're going to join me, okay? So you're going to breathe up from your feet and into the heart, okay? 1, 2, 3, breathe in. And hold. And then release through the mouth. And breathe it all the way out. Next breath in. We're breathing up from the center of the earth. Connecting with our earth energy. Breathing up to the crown. Holding. And then release. The energy is coming out from the crown and clearing all your energy centers along the spine. And we are connected to our Mother Earth here. Next breath in, we're going to breathe in source energy, putting our consciousness on the breath, watching our bodies fill up with light with the breath, okay? Breathe in. And then as you hold your breath, that light is just extending beyond your skin, and you're going to breathe out. And the light is shooting off in every direction, dissolving any impurities, distortions, obstructions, blockages in your energy field, bringing us into the present moment for clarity, for healing, for peace, for truth, for love, okay? And that's what we're here for. We are in a nice, safe bubble of protection. Woo! All right. All right, so let's start with the Moonology Oracle deck. We're going to receive messages for the highest good of the people that are tapped in, that are watching, that are going to watch later, maybe. Meow, 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 meow. Ha! Look, I was talking about the new moon in Aries, and here is the card that we received today. The full moon in Aries. So the full moon energy, that Mars energy, is really loud right now. Full moon in Aries, a fiery climax approaches. Okay. And a little peek. New moon in Capricorn, your hard work is paying off. Okay. So that cardinal energy, that Saturn energy is strong. Okay. Let's look at the... I'm saying full speed ahead is kind of what I'm hearing and stuff. Full speed ahead. We're releasing and there's a fiery climax, and that means that there's something that's coming to a head, something that needs your immediate attention, okay? And it can potentially be chaotic, but it's kind of bulldozing and clearing a path forward. That's reminding me of the tower also. Ooh, here we go. Time for the call out. Okay. It's time to see if you've been a little bit too much me. There's a tug of war going on between what you want and what someone else wants. But you'll have to wait a little while to see what's going to happen next. As you wait, ask yourself if you've been handling the situation as sensitively as you could have done. You know, that's a truth there that we have to face. Have we? Have we not? Okay. If you know deep down that you've been a little rash or harsh, gone too fast, or overstepped the mark, then accept that on some level you've created the situation yourself, which means you can create your way out of it too. When this card comes up, a peak is coming, and it could be fiery, attuned to the moon. Be nice, be kind, smile, and be polite as you navigate to where you want to be. I just heard the song by The Residents, the something of being polite. If you know The Residents and you know what I'm talking about, yeah. Okay. Additional meanings for this card. Being assertive is good. Just don't ride roughshod over anyone. If you're in a tense situation, meditate your way to peace. This is what I've been depending on, relying on to kind of get me through the day, then, you know, to help me relax and go to sleep, and it still doesn't work. Because my mind is very active during full moons, usually. Sometimes I get really sleepy, and sometimes I'm way hyper during full moons. But yeah, this one is one that's kind of having me up later at night. If you're in okay, don't be a baby. Sorry, but this could be the issue. True, okay? I am baby. And you know what? We all have like a little baby place inside of us, right? You didn't smother the baby now, did you? Okay. You need to have more fun. Aries does love to play. I have an Aries friend, very playful type. The teaching. The full moon in Aries is a super fiery time when emotions can run very high. On the upside, there's excitement about what may lie ahead, but tempers are likely to flare with rash comments or decisions. No matter when you pull this card, it signals that a situation has just, or is about to, come to a peak, perhaps in a rather heated way. There could be a price to pay if you have been too competitive or too blunt. I like that this description I'm looking is on the page 69. Nice. But it also reminds me of the energy of the 6 and the 9. Okay, the 6 having to do with like the material realm, right? And the Gemini energy, communication, choices, right? 9, completion, wish fulfillment, divinity, right? So 6 on the earth, 9 in the heavens. And the energy of both, like, are mercurial, because we have Gemini there with the lover's energy, and we have Virgo with the hermit energy, right? So, yes, getting out there, opening, taking in information, right? Getting new ideas, and then, like, sitting and grounding and analyzing them, integrating them, right, with the hermit energy and stuff. So it's like we really need to ground these energies that are bringing us to these potentially fiery moments, okay? And it might not always be just you, okay, that's feeling it. And maybe you're kind of at a place where you should know a little bit better how to handle yourself, right? Or you're getting more of a better idea how to do so. You're getting a better grip on those sorts of things. Or at least with this cycle, you have the opportunity to take that higher road, is what I heard. Okay? So Don't worry, I've already walked through this lesson from the time of the new between the new moon and now. I've already been walking through this lesson. Yes, we make mistakes. I make mistakes. Okay, um, but also I've been given the opportunity to reconsider my actions before I even fully take them. So I think that's something that could be happening for you in your story right now or in the near future with this full moon energy, okay? So stay grounded, integrate the energy balance, okay? Mm-hmm. And, you know, we've got like the spiral down from the cosmos, and we've got the spiral up to surrender to the heavens, to the divine plan, okay? Whatever it may be. All right. That's the fiery climax, full moon in Aries. I just heard one of my songs that I wrote playing in my head when I said that. Okay. Right, so that's that one. We're going to get, what are the shadows that we're going to work with? We're using the Dark Mirror Oracle to get into the kind of shadow energy that we're going to be working with today. What elements, because I like this Scorpio energy of like in the 8th house of like mysteries, the secrets, you know, the traumas, the venom that is the antidote kind of a deal. Also, it just popped into my head to remember that this is also known as a flower moon and stuff, so that energy too of blooming in darkness, you know, in moonlight, in reflection is kind of like an energy also. That's another aspect of the situation, okay? Oh, here we go. Oh, this is perfect. Nice. Anger and chains, number 29, okay? That's a 2 energy, that's an 11 energy connecting to the High Priestess and the Justice card, or Strength, depending on which major arcana you're looking at, okay? Anger and chains. So we've got fiery climax, and we've got anger and chains. Sometimes, you know, the anger is the things that make us angry and trigger us, our triggers are our chains, okay? Because they can be, it can lead to behavior that holds us back in the longer run. It creates more restriction and actually kind of entrenches the pattern more, okay? Ooh, okay. Hello, Ashton Wad. Hello. Okay. Right now we're doing oracle reading, so I did this one, and now we're doing this one from the Dark Mirror. We looked at the moonology, now we're in the Dark Mirror. Okay, anger and chains. There's like an X, there's these gems, okay? There's these kind of patterns of leaves and vines and stuff, and a lion that is kind of looking like it's crying, a crying lion, okay? So that, like I said, tying to the Strength card also has like, you know, you got the cowardly lion, a sensitive spirit that has like, that takes on a beastly form. And so it needs to be healed and tamed through compassion and gentleness. You know, how can anybody see through that ferocity, you know? You have to go through the heart, okay? All right. Anger and chains. Moon phase, waning crescent, stage, anger. Okay. Force channeled outside, unreasonable, undirected, but powerful. The visual, lions and sparks and chains and signs and lines all metal together. Geometry and colors like an explosion. Sentence, I've got to break free. I want to break free. Okay, shout out Freddie Mercury and Queen. That's also Virgo energy there too. Yeah. I Want to Break Free by Queen. Shout out. Okay. Going dark. Anger is not the road to clarity. It's not a controlled effort or a cold dish. It is raw, primal, explosive. It is the loss of reason, the loss of restraint. A bomb burning bright in black color. A wax seal carefully crafted to be immediately broken. But anger is also freedom. How can you break a single thread woven with a million others? How can you unfetter yourself from a bad situation, letting all the rest unchanged? Be unchanged or go unchanged. It doesn't work like that. When you need to break free, you need to shake and shout, and more things will be broken than just what you want to hurt. Kind of, they have typos in there. They are like a bundle. You can target, but you cannot choose. Break many to break one. Save one to save many. So this is kind of like the same kind of situation, the dynamic that I've been struggling with kind of personally and trying to deal with, you know? Yes, I want to break free. I want to break free. Right? But it's like, what level of destruction is actually necessary? And yes, there is a sense of catharsis in just like, getting it all out there and ripping it to shreds, you know, or tearing it apart, okay? But like, what are the actual repercussions of that? And is it better to 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 find another way through? Okay, we do have the power to choose our way through. If we created the situation, we can create our way out of it. That's just what we were saying with the full moon in Aries and stuff. So we're caught in between this temptation with all of this anger and these emotions that are bubbling up and popping up. Like that's the dichotomy, that's the choice that we are faced with and stuff. Either way, you can find a way to release the anger. You can find a way to be assertive, to stand up for yourself, to create your boundaries and reinforce them, okay? Especially if you're connected with spirit. The more and more consciously that you're connected with spirit, the greater your ability to call on divine protection, okay? And it's out of your hands. It is out of your hands, the retribution that may or may not follow, okay? Okay. All right. So let's see. Let's hear from the Love Oracle. Okay, I haven't used this deck at all in a reading. I mean, for myself, yes, because I've been playing with it, right, here and there. But I haven't used it in like a live reading yet, okay? So what is something that we can, let's get a message from this Love Oracle about this energy that we're dealing with for full moon in Scorpio, flower moon. Well, how are we blooming through this time? How are we growing? How are we shifting? How are we breaking free? Hello, Texas. Hi. Okay, come on now. That's too many. Just one. Okay, I do want to do my tarot read before we get out of here, because we do have to get out of here too. We're kind of on a limited time frame here. Let's connect highest energy possible. Message of love from the Love Oracle. Okay, love and guidance from spirit, from the universe, from the cosmos, from the one, from our higher selves, from the ancestors, from past over loved ones. Come on now. I'm jumping up like 2 spaces ahead of where we're at right now. Let's go from the moment. Come on now. It's taking forever. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to shuffle it 10 times, and then I'm going to draw a card from the top. I think because it's a new deck, it's not very slippy slidey yet. 5, 6, 6, 7. Do you guys still say 6, 7 all the time? 8. 9. And the last one. Drum roll. Harmony. 4 energy, again connected to Aries, Emperor energy, Mars energy. Okay, yes, Mars is the god of war, but also the ruler of the Emperor card through the sign of Aries. Okay, very responsible, authoritative energy. You have to use your power wisely. And we've got the flower blooming, and we're in this pool of infusion, earth magic in there. Okay, have yourself a cup of tea. All right, let's read here. Dun, dun, dun. Harmony. The cows too, that's like the Taurian energy, Venus energy. Okay. Key themes: being in harmony with yourself, with your environment, finding peace, overcoming inner conflicts, inner peace. The relationship, this is like, this deck is used a lot in relationships, but if you're having conflict with other people or just situations in your environment and stuff, it could be, you can think of it, if it's not a relationship with a person or with several people, it could be just your relationship with yourself or with life in general, okay? The relationship potential lies in feeling in harmony with oneself and with each other. The adventure. Especially in times when we face great challenges, we long for a feeling of inner peace and balance. We desire harmony with ourselves and our environment, and we strive for serenity, acceptance, contentment, and love. Sometimes, however, it is not so easy to achieve this inner state. It is possible that we keep thinking about something over and over again and cannot switch off, so the feelings associated with it are permanently present. That's what I was saying about the entrenchment, you know? Maybe you are in a situation where you want a partner at your side with whom you can be in harmony, who is your rock, who catches you, and with whom you have the feeling of coming to peace. It is also possible that the card indicates that your partner, or, others involved in your situation, needs harmony with you. Feel where the theme of harmony plays a role in your relationship or love life, or just life in general, How can we be in harmony with life? If this card is in a position of future predictions, then it holds the prospect of harmony with you and within a relationship as a potential. Okay. Behind the scenes, they say a sorrow shared is a sorrow halved. Although no one can take your emotional burden away, it feels good to feel in harmony with someone. A harmonious relationship can carry us so we can cope better with challenges. However, we should also be careful not to permanently burden our relationship with unresolved and unprocessed emotions, as this can put a lot of strain on the relationship. It is important, in order to experience the feeling of being in harmony with ourselves and others in the long term, that we face these emotions and find peace within. Finding peace and harmony with ourselves is an inner process that has to do only with ourselves, where we stay completely with ourselves. Your memory. Observe your thoughts and the emotions associated with them. Go into yourself, close your eyes, and emotionally re-enter the situation you want to find peace with. Then imagine that you are an eagle circling above the situation. Eagles can see very well, and maybe the eagle can see something that you could not see before. Maybe this little journey inside will help you take a new perspective and reevaluate the situation by seeing the strength you have gained from the situation. Strength again. A change of perspective can be the beginning of your journey to heal the past within you and achieve inner peace. Hello. We're just finishing up with our oracle messages. That is harmony. We have to put in the effort to kind of raise ourselves above the situation that we're looking at, First we have to drop inside within to our center, okay? Calm. And then we can kind of elevate that perspective, elevate and expand it, okay? And by the time that we're, kind of here, it doesn't take much more effort, just a few more breaths, okay? And if it needs more, you give it more. Okay. So those are our oracle messages. To sum up: fiery climax, new moon in Aries, or full moon in Aries, okay? Anger and chains, and harmony, okay? The push and pull between, the tension between how are we going to act, how are we going to react when our boundaries are violated, when our triggers are triggered, okay? So I'm going to do just 5 cards from this beautiful little Halloween tarot deck. We're using the Halloween tarot here in the middle of spring because full moon in Scorpio always gives me a nice little spooky vibe, okay? Because it carries that scorpionic energy of that season to me personally. It's almost time to go. Oh, oh, oh. I think 2 more. So here we had King of Cups, and now we've got 6 of Swords, okay? Moving through a difficult time period. Emotions can be turbulent. So, and our thoughts might be getting in the way a little bit, obscuring things, but our thoughts can also kind of find a pathway through. So, what's important is to not get too shallow in the water where you won't be able to move any further across the water, and to avoid the brambles, the weeds, right? So you don't get stuck. But you don't need to get too deep to where you can get as deep as you need to, I guess, and stuff, because you're still going to be in the boat, okay? But like the swords, they can cause confusion or they can create clarity and a clear path forward, okay? So being more balanced on the inside is going to help to clear that pathway forward. This is 6 of Bats here. Bats are very cute, okay? 5 of Cups. So this is the 6 of Swords is kind of like the energy that was underneath, right? 5 of Cups is your current energy right now. So we're disappointed. We're not feeling our best. We're kind of grieving a situation, maybe. Yeah. We're haunted by a situation. The Tower, the crux of the matter is the Tower. And I spoke on the Tower energy earlier and stuff because of the Mars and Scorpio energy that's kind of going around, right? So that destruction, the chaos, to serve for a better design moving forward, a stronger foundation, something more true, more authentic, more real, stronger. Yes. Ooh, and I didn't notice those guys. Those look like nettles or morning glories and stuff. Nettles are considered weeds, but they're also actually really nutritious, and they have a lot of medicinal properties as well. And the fibers of the plant can be used to create fabric and all sorts of things, okay? So it's a very useful plant, even though it's considered a weed. And morning glories are very tenacious. They're associated with survival, and again with that Virgo energy of introspection, because it's a September flower, fall energy. Okay. 4 of Pumpkins. What Spirit wants you to hear loud and clear, okay? All right. So you need to do some heart work here. This is a need for a heart release, heart chakra opening, okay? We might not necessarily feel super safe to do that because we're already upset and we might be feeling kind of raw, right? Oh, here, use this too. Oh, yeah. Sorry, the mosquitoes just started coming out. And this isn't like exactly a bug spray, but it has stuff in it that they don't like, so yeah, that's what I'm spraying it. You use it. Yeah. So let me see here. There we go. 4 of Pumpkins. So this is also about stability, maybe needing to accumulate, to focus on your saving money, saving resources, conserving resources, getting more balanced, right? Staying grounded. But also you can, in this space of calmness, In stillness, there's two herons flying over us right now, and they just went in opposite directions, like at an angle like this. I'm gonna look that up. Okay, herons. Okay, let me just take a little break to explain about herons. Herons are connected to the fae, to fairy energy, to the other world. Okay, they are a creature that has connections to the earth, to the water, and to the air. Okay, and that's why they have those connections. Okay, so stop. I already told you. Yee. Okay, go talk over there. Okay, let's see here. Okay, flying up. So two forces similar in nature, and they meet and they part. Okay, and they will meet again because they are drawn to the same places. They have a migration. They have their feeding areas. They have their resting areas. They have their nesting areas, okay? So it's like, yes, they're separated for now, but they will be around each other again at some point. It's kind of what I'm getting. Working in the meantime, during this phase of kind of not necessarily isolating, but where you're reclaiming your space, your energy for yourself, working on your healing, your heart chakra energy, okay? Getting in there. Focusing on your stability, emotional, financial, material, whatever it is, okay? But also not being too stingy with your time and your energy too, because we were talking about that me energy, that kind of self-centered energy. So it's like finding that balance too. Fours are also about balance too, okay? Okay. King, oh wait, that's after four pumpkins, here's your advice. Ace of Imps. This is the Wands energy. How cute is that? Okay. Um, Ace of Wands. Focus on something new. If you've got extra fire energy in you during this time, put it towards a new idea, a new project, okay? Something that you want to say, something that you want to do, something that you want to create. Okay, something that you haven't yet seen before that you want to see. Who else is going to put it out there? You got to do it, okay? You got to do it. And the outcome, King of Pumpkins, that is stable energy. That is Mr. Stable himself, okay? That is luxury. We've got so much growth with the vines there. Ooh, I like the purple shoes, okay? This is reminding me of like the indigo color there too with the transform consciousness energy. And it's on the feet and stuff. The feet have nerves that are connected to every other part of the body and stuff. And you can, in reflexology, you're like studying all of those different areas of the feet that connect to this chakra, this part of the brain, that part of the brain, this shoulder, this one, you know, like these memories and stuff. It's a way you can map the physical and the emotional and the spiritual body through the feet. Okay. There's mushrooms, so there's like decay and regeneration and transformation, transmutation, alchemization, right, of decaying matter into nutrients for other organisms. All right, it's all part of the ecosystem. It's all part of the biome, right? It's how we're using the things that come to us and that are in our space, in our sphere, okay? Okay, so how are you using those things? How are you using those things? Okay, let me get into the Tarot of the Divine. You can draw a card for each one of these cards. Let's see what this Five of Cups is about. Let me get a card for Five of Cups. Five of Ghosts. Okay, two came out. We've got Knight of Swords. We were talking about speaking rationally maybe, and the Three of Wands and stuff. And it's kind of creating this energy of wanting to leave or get out of there, right? That's a travel card and stuff. We don't want to, but we really, like, there's a point where you should be sitting with the grief in order to process it, right? But you don't want to get, and that's understandable and stuff. Just make sure that you're not just trying to escape yourself and your real feelings, okay? And also watch what how you're communicating with people. Don't be too brash. Don't be too rash. Okay? Don't be too grunt. Don't be too blunt. I don't know. Okay, let's see. Get me a card to clarify the tower energy as the crux of the matter. What is the core of our reading? What is the core meaning of the reading here? Transformation, reclamation. Ooh, Eight of Wands. Okay, these are changes that aren't coming through because it's blocked, okay? So you have to surrender to this tower energy or it's going to block the necessary changes, okay? Let me see if they have a reverse meaning in the booklet real quick, okay? It could be a delay, could just simply be a delay. Lethargy, delays, bad timing, slowness, frustration. Okay, so there's frustration at the heart of this situation with the tower, okay? So you got to really look at that stuff and don't be too caught up in how this delay may or may not affect things or how it makes you look or feel. Try not to get too caught up in that. Pay attention to the feelings, yes, but you don't have to attach a narrative to it, especially if it's disempowering or if it is causing you to feel more frustrated and upset, okay? But the delays are actually in your service. They are serving your consciousness, your heart, and your spirit for your highest good so that you can make better, clearer decisions, okay? That's what the delays are for, so that you can make better choices for yourself and the whole situation. Four cups or four pentacles is Page of Cups. Okay, that's what's underneath it. It's that heart energy that I was just talking about. Of course, yes, we have to focus on our work, our stability, our you know, our space, our boundaries and stuff. But also, there's that balance too, where we have the Four of Pentacles can be sometimes shutting down their heart or keeping good experiences away from them by focusing so much on protecting their energy. Okay, so Page of Cups is reminding us to retain our curiosity, our creativity, our willingness to engage sincerely with others and authentically, okay? Trust in your luck, okay? Trust in your protection with the divine, I see with the red cord there, okay? It's kind of a little bit like a Fool card in a way, too, with that little white rabbit. And of course, we've got these moons and the flowers, flower moon. Okay, give me a card for the Ace of Imps, Wands, fire energy. Give me a card for the Ace of Fire. Ooh, I like this. Nine of Wands reversed. To me, that's coming out of that. The Ace of Wands is going to bring you out of the Nine of Wands energy, okay? It's taking you straight from the 9 to the 10 to the 1. Skipping right over, okay? That's a beautiful thing. Trust in your protection, like I said, so you can relax and enjoy life and the new potentials that are right in front of you. And I said Four of Cups earlier. That's exactly what's going on in the Four of Cups, is that you're sitting there pouting at the three cups in front of you that you don't like, and or that you don't feel like they're enough, and you're ignoring the fresh, shiny new cup that the universe is bringing in. Okay, so don't ignore the new cup. Do not take any new opportunities for granted. If you really feel like you can't right at the moment, that's okay. Don't worry. Don't worry. Okay, because that's going to keep you stuck. Keep worrying. King of Pentacles. Let's get, or pumpkins. King of Pumpkins, King of Pentacles. Okay, let's get 1, 5, 4. King of Pumpkins. We're going to get it. We're going to get it. Ooh. Ooh. I'm not going to take that one, but it's interesting. So, I'm going to read this both ways, because if it came out like this to you, it'll look upright. To me, it's reversed, okay? So we're going to read it both ways. King, this is Taurus energy for sure. Venus ruled. This is tradition. This is, in this card, to me, it's representing ancestral energy, the nature spirits, and all of this stuff, okay? Also, we've got the bull horns here. We've got the bovine horns here, okay? So it's definitely that bull energy. Get into your Venus mode. Check where you've got Taurus in your chart, okay? Get into it. All right, and that is the polarity of Scorpio. These are the energies that we're working with. This is going to prepare us for the new moon, okay? We're illuminating so we can release, okay? But you got to take your time with it. It's important to take your time with it. Taurus, take their time figuring out what they want to do, where they're going to put their energy, what's most important to them. Because once they figure that out, there's no fucking stopping them. They just go straight through. Like I said with that ram energy, okay? Bull does the same thing. Bulldozes, okay? Okay, but we're not running roughshod over people, right? Because we're staying in alignment with our heart and with our values, okay? And that does not include stampeding over other people. Alrighty? Okay. So, but in reverse, this is like, I don't think of it as a negative thing either, okay? This is like breaking free of traditions and rules that can be holding you back, okay? Internalized expectations of others, basically like the super ego, right? Okay? Breaking free of the super ego so that way we can move forward with our own values, with our own worth, with our own ideas, okay? And that's the outcome. It's like the tradition of being non-traditional. I don't know. Okay, but staying with your values, and that can seem like a really traditional thing in some ways, but at the same time, like you're doing it in a very unconventional kind of way that's kind of breaking the mold as well. All right. And thanks for that. I think we are done here for tonight. I've got to get going. We are here at the park and it's time to go home. The bugs are out and everything. Thank you for joining me. Thanks for sticking around for the whole read. I hope I'll see you again. If you like this, like it. And if you want to subscribe, join the channel and get notifications and all that. Subscribe and, press the buttons that are required to do so. Okay? So before we go, let's just take another little deep breath in. Breathing in and breathe out. One more deep breath in. And deep breath out. And whatever bullshit is happening in your life these days, let's also think about all the good things, all right? As we breathe in one more time, I'm going to breathe in, thinking of all the positivity that does exist and is occurring in your life. Holding that in, feeling appreciation, and thank you. Release with gratitude. Okay? And thank you again for joining me, and I will see you guys later. Bye!